So the reason for Luke writing this gospel is so that whoever reads it can know the truth about Jesus. Now, there were so many eyewitness accounts of Jesus going around that Luke wanted to be sure to get his own facts, especially as he was a doctor. He wanted to get the hardcore facts. Now, imagine if someone like Jesus was walking around today. There would be so many posts about it. The news feeds would be going crazy, and imagine the amount of memes that it would have. Ultimately, it would just be everywhere. But because of this, Luke wanted to make sure that he gets the facts and gets it all right. So Luke originally wrote this for a guy called Theophilus, but it's so relevant for us today. Now, as we look into the first few chapters of Luke and Jesus' birth, we're going to read it and see how Luke describes it. In the first few chapters of Luke, there are some encounters with angels. Now, God uses angels as messengers to deliver messages that he wants to give. The first example of an angel is with a guy called Zechariah. Now, he was a Jewish priest, and an angel appeared to him and told him that his wife Elizabeth was going to bear a son. Elizabeth and Zechariah were pretty old, so for them, hearing that news, especially for Zechariah, he was like, what? That's crazy. I mean, imagine now if you knew somebody who was old, or even your grandparents, and they told you they were pregnant. Can you imagine that? That just sounds crazy. But ultimately, that's what happened. Elizabeth gave birth to a son called John. And John, we find later on, is actually John the Baptist, who plays a huge part in Jesus' life. The second encounter with an angel again is to tell of a miraculous birth again of a baby. Angel Gabriel appears to Mary and tells her that she is going to bear a son. Now, Mary was engaged to Joseph and was a virgin at the time, so for her this was a complete shock. Now, Mary was just a normal girl. She lived a normal life, she wasn't of any royalty or anything like that, but yet God chose her to bear a son called Jesus, who is the greatest man who ever lived. What do these two encounters with angels show us? They show us that God is a God of the impossible. As it says in Luke 1 verse 37, God can do things that we cannot do, but he does all these things for the greater good of humanity. John the Baptist was born to pave the way for Jesus, and Jesus was born to pave the way for God's saving plan for the rest of humanity. John's birth wasn't an accident, and neither was Jesus' birth. They were both because of clear supernatural occurrences. Now, these births were prophesied over hundreds of years ago in the Old Testament. Extraordinary things happened to very ordinary people, and the result of this was that Jesus' birth would go on and change history.